Hello everybody and welcome to JuniperGraceTube 13! Hey! It's been a while. Anyways, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Juniper Grace, and if you're new, thank you for coming and joining us. And if you are not new and you're just back and you've been eagerly waiting for the entire month of June for the next podcast, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm not dead. Promise I'm not dead. And I've got a story for you. Oh, shiny. Okay, by Oliver Jeffers, my new favorite children's author. This moose belongs to me. Are you ready? Okay, how can you tell it's Canada Day? Happy Canada Day! I'm wearing a maple leaf. Should be wearing all red, but I don't have a lot of red clothing. Okay, so this moose belongs to me. I just want to show you every bit of goodness. There's also blue yarn, sort of. Oh, this is going to be interesting with glare times. Sorry, it's sunny. Oh well. Okay, for Mac and Adriana. Wilfred owned a moose. Let me see if that frames it. Oh, yes, it does. Excellent. Wilfred owned a moose. He hadn't always owned a moose. The moose came to him a while ago, and he knew that it was meant to be his. He thought he would call him Marcel, and he's hanging a tag with the name Marcel on the moose's antlers. Oh, this way. This way. Perfect. New camera angle. I know. Crazy. Okay. He began following Marcel, explaining the rules of how to be a good pet. Much of the time, it seemed as though the moose wasn't listening, but Wilfred knew he was. Mostly because he followed Rule 4 very well, not making too much noise while Wilfred plays his record collection. I freaking love this. Sometimes the moose wasn't a very good pet. He generally ignored Rule 7, going whichever way Wilfred wants to go. The moose had a very good sense of direction, and Wilfred did not. And because the moose was particularly poor on Rule 7, subsection B, maintaining a certain proximity to home, Wilfred quickly learned to bring some string along on their outings so he could find his way back again. Yep. I just love it. Look how happy that moose is. Wait, over here. Oh, nope. Nope. Closer. Why? Why is it so hard? Okay, here we go. See, look at him prancing in the wilderness with his little hoof up. Freaking love that. Moose are so cool. Sometimes the moose was an excellent pet. He had no trouble with Rule 11, providing shelter from the rain, or Rule 16, knocking down things that are out of Wilfred's reach. Good work, Wilfred said. See the moose? See him knocking things down? See Grace not being able to hold the thingy? Okay, anyways. Dun, da, da, da. One day, as Wilfred was discussing their plans for their coming year on a particularly long walk, he made a terrible discovery. What's it gonna be? You guys like his plans to go, I think it's over like Niagara Falls in a barrel. Very Canadian of him. Someone else thought they owned the moose. Rodrigo, you're back! Wilfred was dumbstruck. This moose was Marcel, not Rodrigo. The old lady was mistaken, and Wilfred thought it only proper that he correct her. This moose belongs to me, he explained. Oh yeah, I gotta work on the whole image of the picture book. Okay. Channel my mom. Rodrigo. What a name. And to prove it, he called Marcel. Heel. But the moose did not respond. He seemed more interested in the old lady. Good Rodrigo. We all know why he was more interested in the lady. I mean, come on. Come on, Wilfred. You need to carry a pocket full of apples. Fine. Embarrassed and enraged, Wilfred rushed off for home. But in his haste, and miles from anywhere, he tripped over his string and got tangled up. Oh no. See, peeking to see that the page is right. Oh no, look, he's tangled. Oh dear, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. And there he lay. Wilfred was beginning to get a little bit worried. It was past his home time now, and the monsters would be out soon. Can you imagine? This is case in point for carrying along embroidery scissors. That's all I've got to say. Carry scissors, and you can't get stuck. Tangled up in your yarn. Metaphor for life. He had just ruled out the last of his options. A bear with an axe, a hammer, a thundercloud with lightning, a penguin, a saw, a swordfish. That says no problem. When along came the moose. It's him ruling out his options. Oh, you're killing me. And performed Rule 73 brilliantly, rescuing your owner from perilous situations. What a great moose. Doesn't it make you want to have a pet moose? I have a moose. Oh gosh, okay, I'm going to have to run it off camera. I can grab that for you. All was forgiven, and perhaps Wilfred admitted he'd never really owned the moose anyway. So he ripped off the tag that said Marcel, and there's the string that they're following home. Ah, geez, Grace. Center the book. Get it with the program. Okay. Anyways. With that in mind, he and the moose reached a compromise. The moose would agree to all of Wilfred's rules. Got the moose with a like tuxedo or something, bringing him drinks. Whenever it suited him. There he is, prancing off again. Like, I guess that's just how mooses prance. Dominique, you're back, and you brought me an apple. Isn't that just terrible? Oh, that moose. That moose. Oh, wonderful. Okay, I have to go and show you my moose. I'll be right back. Un momento. Oh no, I don't know where my moose is. Melvin's missing. Oh. Oh wait, I do have a moose. Ah. Oh my goodness. Okay, hi, I'm back. Sorry. I couldn't find the first moose, but then I realized I had another moose. Remember? I think I showed him to you already. He's my bronze moose. He sits on my bookshelf. But I have another moose. It's called the moose spotting moose, Melvin. Melvin, the moose spotting moose. He's a stuffy and he's like a little ball, and he sits, you put him in the corner of your windshield when you're on road trips and you're driving through where there are moose, and he spots the moose for you. Something like that. Okay, so I'm back, and you might notice, A, I've been gone for a really long time. I promise I'll tell you where I've been. B, what happened behind me? What happened? I have a new hutch behind me. Well, it's new to us. Our Joel's parents recently downsized to a smaller apartment and couldn't bring everything with them. And so they've been kind of divvying out bigger items to the family, and we got a couch and a chair for our living room. We got some kitchen table chairs. Kitchen table chairs? Kitchen chairs. And the hutch. And the hutch is wicked because everything that's behind me, well, I mean, aside from all the knitting things that I'm going to talk about in a little bit here, everything that's behind me at one point in time was on like a smaller shelf and a bookcase in the living room, like just not the ideal place for things to be. So I went and I got a little corkboard to put our postcards on, which I have 2 new ones way up there. That's from Japan, from a mountain thing in Japan, from Sarah Off to Explore. She's one of the co-cabin leaders / helping with the Hanaho knit along. And then a little bit further, that one's from Laura Mag, from Wales, and it's got bumblebees on it. She went to a honey farm and got me a postcard with bumblebees on it. Thank you. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I haven't shouted out for. Oh, I got a Palm Springs postcard, and that one's way over by my coffee plant. But of course I don't know offhand who sent it to me, but thank you. I love the postcards. If you want to be part of the postcard phenomena, you can send me a message on Ravelry, which I haven't even introduced. Oh no, I'm out of practice. Okay, number 1. Do you have a beverage of choice to be enjoying while we chat? Late as usual. I am sporting, actually, a really wicked coffee, or a mason jar cozy knit for me by Snilgy on Ravelry. She sent me that and a shawl pin and the coolest card. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's like Norwegian mittens or something. I can't even, made in Norway. That's where Silgy's from. Look how beautiful that is. I want to knit those. Oh my gosh, just beautiful. I want to frame this card and put it up in my knitting area and just like bring it out at wintertime, you know, like if you do themed art places, I could bring it out at wintertime and have it up for like winter knitting inspiration. But look, she knit me a mason jar cozy and it's so cute. And it's perfect for my tall mason jars because I'm lazy and I've only knit a small mason jar cozy that I continually put on my taller mason jars and overstretch it, and it doesn't really do the trick anyways. So, thank you. Oh, my phone. Sorry. My husband just texted me to tell me that he liked the stew I made for him. That's nice. Doesn't it feel good when you cook or bake something for somebody and they really, really love it, and then you're like, I'll make you anything. I'm getting so far off topic. Okay, so I'm Juniper Grace. You can also find me on Ravelry as Juniper Grace. You can find me on Instagram, which is my favorite thing, as Juniper Grace. Twitter, which is linked to my Instagram, I'm G-Raceface. G-E-E Raceface. I was like 20 when I got it. And a group for this podcast on Ravelry. It's JuniperGraceTube on Ravelry. So look us up. You're gonna love it. Come join the party. Now that I'm back, which I still haven't gotten to telling you where I was, but now that I'm back, if you were on Instagram, you would know where I've been. But now that I'm back, and we're gonna do fun things. So we've got our beverages, we know who I am, and let's continue on. So we've got the postcards that I did my little shout out for, and I said, I wrote everything down. Yes. I told you about why everything has changed back here. I'm not gonna lie, I miss the postcard wall, but I'm really thankful for the hutch. And you can see my amazing mixer that I got for our wedding from my second papa, my best friend Jess, her dad. I call him Papa Fewer, and he bought us this beautiful, beautiful mixer. So Papa Fewer, if you're watching, hi, and thank you. I love our mixer. It makes the best pizza dough ever. Not that I'm plugging KitchenAids or anything, but I love it. Okay. Captain Distracto. I need a sip of coffee. Okay, so I made some iced coffee. Coffee that I got while I was on my trip to Alberta. Right at the start of June, I hopped in the car with my aunt and my best friend. My mom and my stepdad were in a different car, and we were aiming for Sylvan Lake. As some of you know, my uncle passed away in October, and at the time, according to his will, he said that he wanted to be cremated, and he didn't want a big hubbub, like a huge funeral, and he didn't want a big fuss to be made. He wanted to sell the house and, you know, all those kind of things. And so Mom and her sister got the wheels in motion to get the house ready to sell and different things like that. And my uncle lived in Sylvan Lake, and Sylvan Lake is in Alberta. It's roughly pretty much exactly between Edmonton and Calgary, if you know anything about the geography of Alberta. So it's kind of like mid-southern-ish Alberta, and it's beautiful. I mean, I grew up, that's where we went. We would go visit Uncle Maury, and I would play at the lake and try to catch minnows in little, like, Tupperware containers, well, no, like margarine containers. Or we'd go mini golfing, or get ice cream. I would always get ice cream from this place called the Big Moo, and I'd always get cotton candy ice cream, and that was like one of my favorite memories. I really like ice cream of Sylvan Lake. And so the point of this trip was we were going to go down, see what the last few things were before we put the house on the market, and go, like, make sure we get his pictures and, you know, like, the important things. And then we wanted to have a little, like, family-only ceremony where we went to the cabin that my uncle had and scattered his ashes and played bagpipe music on my cell phone and sang The Parting Glass, and yeah, and just kind of honored him. And yeah, and we got together, and this turns out it's like the first time that whole chunk of my family has really been together in a long time. Like my 2 cousins, my aunt, my uncle, then my mom and me and my stepdad. That's pretty much my family. So all of us together, because my uncle, he wasn't married and didn't have kids. We were kind of his kids. He took care of us. So yeah. So anyways, that long story to say that we went to Alberta and we decided to drive. And I'm from Alberta. It is my homeland. My hometown is Edmonton. And going to Edmonton, on this whole trip, I decided, okay, I didn't really Instagram the family part, just because I didn't, you know, I just wanted to show other sides of the trip. And I decided the whole way along that I was going to give away postcards, because I wanted to keep in contact with you guys somehow, some way, even though I knew I wasn't going to be there, really. Like, I knew that I was going to be off gallivanting, and I brought everything with me to try to do a podcast, and I just didn't get the time to do it. So I bought a ton of postcards and gave away a bunch of postcards via Instagram. And now, actually, I'm going to pause and just do an experiment. I have my cell phone here. I've already taken a picture of, I have still a bunch of postcards that I bought when I was in Edmonton, left over. And I'm going to do some interactive something or other. Even though you guys aren't watching this live, I am going to post a picture. Let me show you. That's it, kind of done editing. I'm going to post a picture of some of the leftover postcards that I have from Edmonton. I'm going to say, let's say, feeling nostalgic for my trip to my hometown. Want to give away some more postcards. First 11 people, oh, I have to spell people to comment will have some love in the mail. Okay, so I'm only going to post this to Instagram because it's kind of awkward. Like, it's hard to know where all the comments are coming from if there's like Twitter and Facebook. So, okay. Gonna share, and then hopefully, this is my experiment, as I continue recording, people will start commenting, and then I'll be able to do like a little shout out live on my podcast. Isn't that great? Actually, my best friend was just trying to call me, so I'm just going to text her and tell her that I'm filming or doing my podcast. Just filming my Podcast best friend. Call you when I'm done. Love you. She doesn't really watch the podcast, so she doesn't. She's famous. Okay, so anyways, so we posted now. I'm just going to put my phone down and let's see what happens. I'm really excited. That's a lot of postcards all in one go. I was kind of, for the most part on the trip, I was just doing like one or three or, you know, just a few, and I'm so excited. Okay, all right, so postcard experiment is on. Let's continue talking. So I went to Alberta, and on my way, I decided the very first stop, as soon as we got on the ferry and we made it to the mainland, I wanted to hit up one of my favorite yarn shops on the mainland in Langley. It's called 88 Stitches. And so if you guys are watching, hi, I love you. They consistently get in one of my favorite knitting magazines, which is Pom Pom. And I should, here, let me pull it out. Okay. Ah! Dropping things. Okay, I haven't quite mastered my new setting yet. Okay, so let's put that back. Those you'll see in a bit. Okay, so they consistently get Pom Pom, my favorite magazine. Well, one of my favorite knitting magazines. It's, I think it's a British publication. It's a quarterly, so it comes out 4 times a year. And in it is one of my Knit Night ladies' designs. So the amazing Shannon Cook, very Shannon, on Ravelry, Instagram, blog. I think it's veryshannon.com. She was picked up and published. She published a shawl. I don't want to give away all the information, but it's the Emery shawl. Isn't that just freaking gorgeous? Let me. It's shaped kind of like, without giving away all of the information, a triangle. A long, skinny triangle. Yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna... Oh, wait, I know. There's pictures. Okay, so it's hanging here in the, like, liner notes, or not liner, but, like, the intro notes is the Emery, and then there should be good... I love how they styled it. It's so beautiful. Oh, here we go. That's the picture. That's the money shot right there. As soon as I saw it, like, look how they put it around her shoulders and then kind of wrapped it underneath. Oh, here's another way. Isn't that just so pretty? I love it. Emery is a textured play on geometrics, knit from corner to corner to create a reversible triangular wrap that can be worn multiple ways. Stitch definition pairs nicely with the unfussy lace details, creating a focal point on this sweet yet modern shawl. Super versatile, Emery can be worn in the front bandana style, as a full shawl around your shoulders, bolero style, or draped. Asymmetrically. We particularly love it wrapped off the shoulders and tied at the back. So that's the other picture I showed you guys. We can just picture you now, glamming it up at a rooftop party, cocktail in hand. Shannon, you have outdone yourself. I'm just going to show it one more time. Isn't that just pretty? I think the color is perfect. It's for DK weight yarn, and I think she actually knit it in... I think she might have knit it in Plucky Knitter, the sweater, the DK weight. 90% merino, 10% nylon. So I went to 88 Stitches, and I, in my little moon custard bag, shout out to Julie, Inky077, with my Letter Writers Alliance pin on there. All my favorite things in one thing. I found Elspeth Levold Silky Wool, which isn't quite DK, like it's not very heavy, it's quite light, I guess. More like a sport, I guess, silky wool. I found it in the fuchsia colorway, and actually it was Jess, my best friend, F. as in Frank on Instagram. She was the one that's like, yes, you have to do it in that color. It's kind of reading a little more red than it actually. Here you go. That's more accurate, I guess. But I'm just not quite halfway done. Let's see. It's got that nice long tail, and then it kind of builds into a peak with the Irish lace pattern. And it was such, like, it's totally an addicting knit. It's really not that difficult. It's quite nice. It makes sense as you read the pattern. And then you just before you realize it, it's a nice knit. Like, I like that it's simple and kind of repetitive enough that once you know the pattern, you can start a row and then you can finish the row without having to read the whole time. Like, I find sometimes lace work stresses me out because I'm like, oh, and then, you know, and you kind of feel a little bit stressed out. But this is really relaxing because it just, like, you figure out which order you're going for the row and then you finish the row. And I love it. It is so pretty. Yeah, so that should be off the needle sometime soon because I want to enjoy that, I think, like in the evenings in the summertime. And again, I'll just show the bag. Julie made, she does mooncusser bags. She's mooncusserbags.etsy.com, and see how it's got the little like summer lawn chair or like the, you know, lounge chair. I bought this when I was in Maine because she had some bags to sell with her, and I bought it to give away, and then I couldn't give it away because I just loved it so much. So that's my little shout out to the wonderful, wonderful Julie. I feel like I'm so far away. I'm just gonna come a little closer. There you go. Huh. Okay, so let's see. Update on who might have. Okay. So we have Marshaft Knits, Marsha TF Knits, Smoorect, A Knitter's Life, Pink Girl Knits. Sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are spoken for. Except one of them was asking me where is my hometown. Oops. Oh, fun. Pink Hair Girl Knits says even to South Africa. My kids love postcards. Of course, to South Africa. I am fully prepared to send these postcards anywhere around the world. And you know what? Later on, don't worry. If you missed out on the Instagram fun, number 1, you should go follow me on Instagram because I do this kind of stuff all the time. I'm crazy. And number 2, I have a little giveaway for later to kind of make up for being non-existent in June. Okay, so where are we? We went to Edmonton. So I went to Edmonton. I went to West Edmonton Mall. I drove by my old house, like the house that I grew up in. What else? I drove by my old junior high. I just kind of drove around a lot, and we stayed with some really good friends and ate a lot of food. That was kind of like the first week. We went to Edmonton. We also went down to Calgary. We kind of drove a few places in between. It was a lot of driving. I think I drove to the Calgary airport about 3 times in the matter of 1 week, 3 or 4 times. I was in the car for about 2, sometimes 4 hours a day, but it's hard because I never get over there. Like, it's been 7 years since I've been back to anywhere but Edmonton, in Alberta. And so I was just like, I have to, you know, why wouldn't I? I mean, I have to go around and see everything that I can see and everyone that I can see. But then it got a little bit tiring. And I did a lot of driving. But I also bought some really fun CDs. I went to HMV at West Edmonton Mall, and they still, like, I was afraid they wouldn't be there anymore, but they still had like a ton of CDs, and I haven't bought CDs in a really long time. And so I just went and like bought, who did I buy? I bought like Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong and Queen, like greatest hits. I got the soundtrack for The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which is an awesome movie. And the Beatles. I got Beatles 1. Plus a few other ones, because I just needed some music in the car. I didn't prepare properly, and I don't know the radio stations, and I didn't really just feel like listening to the radio. So I had to go get some CDs, and it became quite apparent when I had only bought 1 CD on our way down, which was the Beatles. After we listened to it about 4 or 5 times, I was like, okay, I have to get some more CDs. So that was really fun. I think I have Nitty Shishi and Rurwai. Okay, I think we're up to 6 people. 7. Lola's Love Bug said, "Happy Canada Day, Grace. I would love to receive some snail mail featuring one of your favorite spots in it." This is really fun, and it's really fun because I get to share it with you while we're going. I think I have to do this more often when I'm filming. Okay, all right. So I went to Edmonton, then I was in Sylvan Lake, and the only place I couldn't find a postcard was Sylvan Lake. So if anybody's watching this and you're like from Sylvan Lake or you're near Sylvan Lake, could you like score a postcard for me, because I couldn't find any. There were no, I don't know, and I wasn't around Sylvan Lake long enough to really find anything, and my mom couldn't even find it, and she was like home based in Sylvan Lake. Let me think, some of the highlights. I was going to go to all of these favorite yarn shops that I had been to, like especially the place where I bought my first drop spindle, and I ran out of time. There's just never enough time to do everything you want to do. So it wasn't until I went to the farmer's market that we used to go to every Sunday for the entire summer. It's the Collingwood Farmer's Market, and it's way bigger than it used to be. Oh my word, it has expanded like into the parking lot. But there was a lady there selling yarn. And I was so excited because I hadn't really done any yarn shopping. Although that wasn't really the point of the trip. I was kind of hoping to go to more places. But this is what I found at the farmer's market. And it is so pretty. It is mohair by Spring Harvest Farm from Stony Plain, Alberta. And my mom used to actually teach near Stony Plain. Spruce Grove area, which is just outside the city. So that you can see it's just a really beautiful, it looks bluer on, oh there you go, that's more accurate. It's kind of like a greeny sea glass blue. And her website is www.springharvestfarm.ca. And I'm really excited because I wanted to find something local from Alberta. I mean, I could have gone to the yarn shops, and I kind of did, like I went to 88 Stitches, and I didn't buy anything local. I bought Elizabeth Lavold. And so I wanted to get something from Alberta. Although I'm not usually, like, I don't normally knit with mohair. I kind of, like, I find it, I don't know how my skin feels about it because I'm really sensitive. So if, I gotta think about it, but I might turn this into a giveaway. Just because I want to share the love from Alberta. But I love this color, like absolutely love this color. Kind of obsessed with this color right now. So that was kind of a cool acquisition. We also, when my cousins came over, we ended up going on an adventure to Drumheller. Now, this is a bit of a funny story. I always have a funny story, you know that, it's not surprising. But growing up, you know how you just take things that your parents say at face value, like 100%, like they say it and you just believe it. Like, what was it? One of my friends was talking about a long time ago, he was joking that when he had his son, he, like, wouldn't it be crazy to teach his son that a cow was a horse and a horse was a cow and then see what would happen when he went to daycare? And I just thought, that's horrible, because talk about, like, absolutely obliterating the trust that your children have in you by teaching them something so fundamentally wrong. Like, could you imagine this little kid's playing with a cow and it's like, horsey, and the kids at school would just totally destroy him. Like, they would just be like, what are you talking about? You're stupid. How do you, you know, like, what are you don't know anything. And then he would just be so upset because I know he'd be like, well, my dad said, and I know, right? Wouldn't that be awful? So anyways, on a very smaller scale, my mom sometimes would say things very general. Like, I knew growing up that there's this place in Alberta called Drumheller where the dinosaurs are. And Drumheller, yeah, it's where the dinosaurs are. There's the Royal Tyrrell Museum full of dinosaur bones. Like, I guess they did some digging. It's called the Badlands, and they found dinosaur skeletons in Alberta. And they have a whole museum, and it's so cool, and everybody, like, people come from all over the place. Like, even my husband, who's from Vancouver Island, went to Drumheller for vacation one time. I've never been, because whenever I suggested it to Mom, she'd say, it's too far. It's too far. So in my mind, and this is crazy, like, this trip, when I was actually driving myself all over Alberta, I realized that I really did not have my geography down straight, like, at all. Like, I thought Calgary was 2 hours away from Edmonton. It's 4 hours away from Edmonton. I don't know where my brain was going from that. And I always thought Drumheller was, like, way far away, but Drumheller is about 4 hours from Edmonton, so about as far as Calgary, just over east instead of west. So my cousins, this was after my best friend had already gone home. My cousins came out and we were talking, and one of my cousins, Taryn, she just loves dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs too. I didn't know this. I don't know my cousins super well because they always lived in Langley and I lived in Edmonton, and so we weren't close enough to grow close together, you know? So we pick Taryn up from the airport, and hi Taryn if you're watching. Hi. And Tegan, hi. And Auntie Meryl, hi. But we picked my cousin up from the airport, and she's just like, oh, I just want to go see dinosaurs. And I was like, what? I was just talking about that. Like, we were driving, because every time I drove to Calgary, I'd see the sign for Drumheller, and it would say how many kilometers. And I'm like, Drumheller is way closer than I ever thought Drumheller was. Like, ridiculous. How come I always thought it was so much further away? And I told the story about it's too far. And so that was always... Anyways, we realized, we're like, wait a second, when are we ever going to be back here? When are we going to have a chance to go to Drumheller? I kind of looked at them and I'm like, do you want to go to Drumheller? So we did like the ceremony for my uncle, and then we kind of calculated it all out that we had to hop in the car and just drive. And the place was open till 9, so we'd probably arrive around 5, and we'd have about, you know, up to 4 hours to be there, and then turn around and drive home. We drive, oh, I showed you my thing. We drove 45 minutes away from where we had done the ceremony, and my cousin sitting in the back seat of the vehicle pulls up a pair of keys, and she's like, are these keys important? I was like, I don't even want to look at the keys. I just don't. But I'm like, can you hold them up? And she holds them up, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the one set of keys that my parents had for the condo that they were staying in. Yep. So... we turn around, and we're like, we were 45 minutes on our journey. We turn around, we drive back 45 minutes to the cabin where we did the ceremony. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, betcha they're not there anymore. And there's no reception, so we're trying to call, but nobody has their cell phone on, or we can't get through. So we drive, the gate's locked. Nobody's at the cabin. Like, seriously. So we have to drive back, we have to drive another 45 minutes to get back to Sylvan Lake, thinking, okay, when are people going to realize they don't have the keys? Like, when are they going to realize? They don't realize until we're literally 5 minutes away from Sylvan Lake. Meanwhile, my gas tank is on empty. There's no gas stations. I'm just like praying. I'm like, please, please, just get us to Sylvan Lake so I can fill up the tank. And so we get back to Sylvan Lake, like, perfectly. Like, the gas tank was empty. Fill up gas. My mom comes. She buys me a Slurpee for my troubles. And she's like, were you in Drumheller already? I was like, no, it's okay. Like, what was I going to do? I wasn't going to continue on to Drumheller and leave my parents stranded outside of their condo that they were staying in. Like, forget it. So, drove back, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe we need plan B, because I don't know if we're going to get to Drumheller on time. Because at that point, by the time we got back to Sylvan Lake, it was 2 hours, like, to turn around, it was going to be 2 hours still to get to Drumheller. I'm like, okay, this is maybe plan B. Maybe we can go to Edmonton. That's, like, only an hour and a half. Or, you know, trying to think of whatever. But, no, my cousins were like, but the dinosaurs, Grace. I'm like, okay, you're right. I want to see these dinosaurs just as much as you want to see these dinosaurs. Even if we only get, like, because at that point it was like, we won't get to Drumheller till 7, so we'll only have 2 hours to be at the museum. But that's fine, you know, like, so we've driven like 45 minutes to the cabin originally, 45 minutes out, discovered the keys, 45 minutes back, 45 minutes back to Sylvan Lake. So, like, I don't know, you guys can do the math. But that's a lot of driving already, okay? But we fill up the car, we turn around, I've got my Slurpee, and I think I had, like, a Starbucks refresher in a can, and I was like, time to go. So we drove. And it's so funny because I think I've been on this road once before, but I don't remember, but I kind of remembered it. As the further east you go, it gets flatter and flatter and flatter, and it started to look like Saskatchewan. I lived in Saskatchewan for 2 years, and I'm like, this is beautiful, and I'm telling the girls about it, and we're talking about life, and getting to know each other again as grown-ups, right? Because in my head, my cousins are frozen as teenagers, because that's really the last time I spent time with them. But they're all grown up now. They're only a few years younger than me. It's weird. Okay, so we're driving. And then all of a sudden, it's like And it's beautiful. It's like dips and crevices, and actually I should find it. I have an adventure book that I created for the trip, and it says dinosaurs are cool. That's from the museum, the Drumheller, Royal Tyrrell Museum, Canada. Anyways, I have this adventure book. I'll find the picture that I have from our trip to the Royal Tyrrell. Here's some. You can see the dinosaur. And then that's a little map that kind of shows, let me see. So we have Calgary and then the Royal Tyrrell Museum. So there's Calgary and there's the museum. And there's a plant I stole from the dinosaur land. Okay. And I have a postcard in here. Here we go. So you're driving, and it's like flat farm field, and then all of a sudden you see this. And look, it's like gorgeous, crazy mountains, sort of, or like dips and holes, and it's incredible. Like, it is one of the coolest things that you'll see when you're driving, because it goes from farmland to beautiful, amazing things. So we went and we had 2 hours exactly at the museum, and it was perfect because we made it through the museum in about an hour and a half. I mean, we could have spent more time and read every little plaque, but we took tons of pictures. There's an Instagram picture of me standing next to a brontosaurus leg to see how tall, how I measure up next to the brontosaurus. And then we went to the gift shop, and I found a pastasaurus. It's a pasta scoop, but it's a dinosaur. Okay, seriously guys, like, you may not be laughing, or maybe you are, but honestly, look how cute he is, and he's a pasta scoop. I brought him home, and my husband's like, what are you gonna do with the other pasta scoop? Blink, blink. And I'm just like, I'll get rid of it. I just want this one. We don't have kids yet, but when we do, they're going to think, oh my gosh, Mom is the coolest mom ever. And then he'll try to take credit for it, and I'll be like, nope. That's my discovery. Okay, anyways, got to keep moving. All right, so we have Pastasaurus. And it was so much fun. And like I said, there were literally just adventures and adventures. My best friend, Jess, came for the first part of the adventure. And like the first week of the adventure, we stayed in, the first night we stayed in Three Valley Gap, right here. I want to tell you everything, but I know I don't have enough time to do it. We stayed in Canmore another night. We went to the Enchanted Forest, which I will tell you about another time, and there'll be a little giveaway. Oh, and then with the dinosaurs, I have a postcard that I'm going to do a giveaway, but I'm going to give it away via the Ravelry group. Okay, so basically, I just want to know what your favorite dinosaur is, or why you like dinosaurs if you do. This is an actual fossil that they found in Alberta, and I saved a postcard for the giveaway. Let's see if I've got any more comments. Oh, Jan Smiley. Jan Smiley, I love you. You're in Victoria, and I didn't see you, punk. Did you come on a cruise or something? That's amazing. She Instagrams. She's like this funny little statue thing that we have all over Victoria, and I'm like, wait a second. Or no, in the Inner Harbor, and I'm like, wait a second, I know where that is. You're in Victoria! And she's like, yeah, last night. I missed you. Oh, I went to some movies. I went to my favorite movie theater. I went to see The Grand Seduction. I went to see The Fault in Our Stars. Oh. Go see that movie. It's ridiculous. I got some more postcards of Edmonton. Look. Isn't that just beautiful? The thing that I really, really loved about this trip was the skies, obviously. But more than just the skies, the clouds were ridiculous. Oh, here's West Edmonton Mall. I grew up 5 minutes away from that mall. I went to that mall almost every day when I took the bus for school. Went to see some friends. Stayed with some really amazing friends, Jesse and Eric. Oh, bought a record player. That was amazing. Oh, here, I'll show you guys a picture of my uncle. That's him when he graduated, became a lawyer. And those are some little bits of grass from the cabin. Oh, I love you, Uncle Morty. What else? Okay, yeah, so I guess I'll have to tell you more about the adventures later. Kind of like my mini Maine moments. Maybe we'll morph into mini Alberta moments for a little while. But the last thing I wanted to show you were the squirrels. In Three Valley Gap, we found Mount Monty squirrel underpants. And then there were girl squirrel underpants in Calgary. So we have Monty and Millie, and they came on adventures with us. We have some pictures I'll have to share. Okay. What else did I want to tell you guys about? Okay, so let's get to some knitting, because I haven't really got to knitting, and obviously we need to talk about knitting. That's kind of part of the point of the podcast. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I'm drinking Phil and Sebastian coffee. And they're from Calgary, and guys, I'm from Edmonton. And Edmonton and Calgary have an age-old rivalry. Like, whenever the Edmonton Oilers play the Calgary Flames in hockey, they call it the Battle of Alberta. They're like, there's always been a rivalry. I had no problem. I went to a summer camp that was like right between the two places, and so I had just as many friends in Calgary as I did from Edmonton. It wasn't until I went away to school in Saskatchewan, and I was the only person that was from Alberta, but not from Calgary. Everyone else was from like Calgary area. They would give me such a hard time. They were like, oh, it's because you're from Alberta or from Edmonton, and oh, Edmontonians, and I was like, man, I had no problem with Calgarians until now. And so there's just lots of rivalry, and I just was like, Calgary. But then when we went on our trip, Calgary had better coffee. Calgary had better coffee, and Calgary's actually pretty, and I have to admit it, and I don't really want to. I sent my husband a postcard from Calgary, and I was like, I really hate to admit this, but I have to say Calgary's really pretty, and they have really great coffee, and yeah. So I went to Phil and Sebastian. That was the first coffee shop. I had some trouble finding good coffee, and so I ended up buying an AeroPress for the rest of my stay in Alberta, because I wasn't being properly caffeinated, and it was bad news bears, because I had to get things done and I was not caffeinated. So I bought some cold brew from Phil and Sebastian, and this is now going to be a little flower vase, I think, or something. But it was so good, and I got their coffee, and I bought an AeroPress from them, and I have a little keep cup from them. I think you can almost see it through the glass there. Is my keep cup, and I've used it every day since I've gotten home. All right. Enough about coffee. So I'm back, and I have knitting, but I didn't get a lot of knitting done, because just as much as I didn't really get any podcasting or blogging or anything done that way, I also didn't get any knitting done. I bought a ball of neon sock yarn from 88 Stitches and cast on, and I thought that I wouldn't even be knitting socks on the trip, but this is what I ended up knitting. Well, I knit one on the trip, and I did ankle socks for my bestie friendie. So I don't get to enjoy these, but I think I have enough yarn left over to make another pair, hopefully. If not, my friend Summer from Knit Night hooked me up with this. So it's more. It's the same brand. It's the Regia Schottenmeier. I cannot speak any kind of different languages. Floramania color. And this one is like blue and pink, and I freaking love it. I just love how bright it is. This one I just loved because it's closer to rainbow. Like if they just put blue in this, blue and purple, they would have a straight up rainbow. But I guess that's not what they're going for. So anyways, I made these for the bestie, and they're all blocked in jazz, and I kept them until I podcasted, so now she gets to have these. And that's it. That's all I finished in June. That's it. I was gone. Because I came home, and it's 2 days driving to get there, and then 2 days driving to get back. So we drove back. I drove back with my aunt, and this time it was just my aunt and I, not my best friend and my aunt and I. And it's a long journey. And when you're not at home, like I was sleeping on an air mattress for some of the nights. So I was kind of in a different bed every night for the first week. Just get tired. And I got home, and I just like slept for a bunch of days. And then it was time for me to go to Vancouver again, because I won a spot in the calligraphy course that Fox and Flourish was putting on. So, so many things to say. Sorry, podcaster problems. Okay, just bear with me. All right. In August, on August 17th, it will be our 2-year wedding anniversary. I have this picture I brought out to show you guys from our wedding day. we put fake tattoos on our necks. Everybody. And we had a short bus. We had a little bus carry the whole wedding party around because there were, I think, 6 guys and 5 girls or something like that. And on the bus, one of my bridesmaids, Becca, had fake tattoos for everybody. And so we put fake tattoos on our necks, and it was right before we had our like secret couple session. And so my photographer, my amazing photographer, Sarah Nickerson, and her husband Graham, Sarah and Graham, the Nickersons, I'll link to their website. They were just like, so, just trying to give us a lot of editing work to do, hey? But I thought it was great. So we took this most romantical picture of us with our fake tattoos. So maybe someday I'll get a real tattoo. But I had lace in my hair, and my Auntie Meryl made my dress, and Joel was wearing a vest, and we had yellow, like buttercream yellow was like my color, and it was perfect. Anyways, so Snicks, that's what I call her, Sarah Nickerson, we call her Snicks. She got a new website redesign, and to celebrate, she was doing a bunch of promotions with a lot of local artists or local business people in Vancouver. Vancouver is just a hop, like you just hop on the ferry and you're there in Vancouver from where I am. I mean, I am literally on an island, so I have to take the ferry to get to Vancouver. But I was like, I want this. And so the contest went like this. She said, oh, I'm supposed to get to knitting. I'll get to knitting at the end. It's going to be a little long, this episode. Sorry. So she said, show us a quote that you would do in calligraphy to win a spot in a calligraphy course, and with the lovely Fox and Flourish. So first of all, I went and found Fox and Flourish, and I looked at her website, and I fell in love. I have a massive girl crush on Christina. She is incredible. She's incredible. She does, like, this is her living. Like, she does calligraphy for weddings and signs and tattoos, and oh, it's amazing. So that was number 1. Number 2, I was like, I'm going to enter every way that I can. And so I linked on my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. You know, I went to town and I did a quote by by L.M. Montgomery, who wrote Anne of Green Gables, Canadian author, Canadian book. I always wanted to be Anne of Green Gables growing up. Pretty much am. I have way more words than most people should. That's why I podcast, guys. I hope you're still with me. Still have your little beverage of choice. Anyways, so L.M. Montgomery, there's a quote where Anne of Green Gables says, "Dear old world, I'm so..." Oh, I can't remember. I'll find it. It's over there. And I want a spot. I want a spot. And they were like, oh yeah, it'll probably be in August. Nope. The day before I left to go to Alberta, they were like, the session will be on June 26th. And just let us know that you can make it. And if you can't, we don't know if we'll ever do another one. So it sucks to be you if you can't go, basically. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I am not missing this. So Mom and I had just barely been home, like at all. And Mom's like, okay, well, let's go together and we'll take the car over and then we'll go to IKEA. Because I love IKEA. And there's no IKEA on Vancouver Island. Yeah. That's a whole nother rant though. So anyways, our photographer Instagrammed and she's like, so you need to follow her because she's amazing. And I'll put her in the thingy, in the notes. Anyways, I won a spot. And I went to the class and showed up and there was a little bottle of ink that she hand labeled. Oh. And we got our very own like pen quill with the tip. The tip is a G tip and I can't remember the type. Anyways, so that's my pen. And we got a copy of her alphabet. So it's like her version. And again, her name is Fox and Flourish. This is her alphabet, and it's letterpress, so it's a really nice version. We also have another photocopied version that we can actually trace over top of, but isn't that beautiful? So I showed up and there was calligraphy with my name, and then there's this, well, there was one little flower, it's ranunculus, like my favorite flower, and so I brought them back home and put them in water, and we were in a little streamlined trailer called Tin Can Studios. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We were drinking raspberry wine spritzers and learning how to do calligraphy. Like you practice with basic shapes, and then this is my first alphabet. And so it's basically transparent paper that I just put over top of the alphabet that she'd given us and then traced, or, you know, just copied kind of. And there's a little formula she taught you in how to hold the pen, and then I wrote my name joined up. It makes me think of Harry Potter. It's like when Gilderoy Lockhart loses his memory and they find him again later in the wizard hospital, and he is they find him and they're like, how's it going? He's like, I figured out how to do joined up writing again. So that's my name with joined up writing. Harry Potter nerd. Okay, so part of the other giveaway I want to give away, I have, I believe, 2 Tin Can Studios postcards that I want to send to people with calligraphy. I'm going to write on the back with calligraphy. My cat is meowing to get in, and I'm not going to let her in yet till I finish. But yeah, so if you want this, again, go on Ravelry and maybe tell me a quote that you would like to have, and I could try my hand at writing that quote on the back of the postcard and mailing it to you. But this is the Tin Can Studio, and it's actually right here. You can see by my finger, it's a streamlined trailer. I call it a bowler, even though it's not a proper bowler. It's a streamlined trailer. Let me hold it right up. Oh, you can see my cuticles better than you can see this postcard. And they rent it out to just tons of different things, like all kinds of stuff. Like, I think they've had bachelorette parties. They've turned it into tiki bar. They've, you know, the trailer itself just is very whatever it wants to be. And so we had it for calligraphy class, and so 2 of these and a dinosaur postcard on Ravelry, okay? So join the group. I want you to be a member. Please join the group. And then for this one, tell me what your favorite thing about dinosaurs is. And for this one, tell me what quote you'd like me to attempt in calligraphy on the back of this card. And I'm not sure when I'll draw for those. Maybe give it a week. Maybe for the next podcast. Oh, and then this is the quote that she actually, Christina, did for me while I was cleaning my pen. So it says, "Dear old world, you are very lovely and I'm glad to be alive in you." And that's Anne of Green Gables. And it's got wood grain on the back. I don't know if you can tell. It's really, really, I have to frame this. It's so pretty. But I almost don't want to frame it because I want to enjoy the wood grain on the back. It was so magical, guys. And the trip to IKEA was bananas. I bought tons of stuff to organize my house. But we don't have time to talk about that today. We'll talk about it another time. Now let's get to the knitting. Okay, you know what? There's not that much anyways. Okay, so works in progress. You know I have a million. I always have a million. Current works in progress that I'm actually working on. Number 1, Hana Ho. Hana Ho by Mel, Single-Headed Knits of Emsky Knits fame. I love her so much, and her pattern Hana Ho is one that I test knit, you know, the cardigan. We've talked about this lots. I was waiting for my yarn, and I didn't really, it didn't come right away. So anyways, this is Space Cadet Creations, which is amazing. Oh my gosh. And these are my little hand-wound balls, and someone asked me to show you guys how to make these, and I will. I'll do a tutorial at some point in time. But my little hand-wound balls of the How Dare You. It's the Lyra, the sport weight yarn. I love it. As you can tell, there's still a lot of balls that are not knit. So, announcement. And I really apologize if you were banking on this being, I know the original time frame for the knit along was May to July 1st. It is now July 1st, and I do not have a sweater, and I'm not done, and there's not enough people that are done. So forget it, we're extending. We're gonna go all of July till August, okay? And then I have a few extra giveaway gifts to make up for the fact that I'm totally not even close to being done. So this will be the Hana Ho. I've been working on it since I got back. It's not done yet. So the giveaways are, we have a few. So number 1, we have the Hawaiian Owl Bag, project bag, by the amazing Rista1313 of Girl Cave Bag infamy. She's got her little label there, Girl Cave Bags on Etsy.com. Then we have Stephanie from Space Cadet Creations. She gave us a mini skein club bundle. A bundle of mini skeins. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? I want to steal just the blue one, but I won't because it's for you. It's not for me. but it's so pretty. Some of them are sparkly, some of them aren't. It's just amazing. And people have really come out of the woodworks. Akin Jewels. So Asia from Akin Jewels. She's as good as in my knit night. Like, that's how I met her. She's from, I think she's Swell Dove on Instagram. She gave us a little set of stitch markers. She also gave us something else, but I'm going to save it for another one, for another giveaway. But see, it says akinjewels.etsy.com. They're large stitch markers, and they look like bumblebees. They're yellow and black and green. Really fun. So I'm going to give that away, as well as my sister-in-law gave us some things to give away. So, and again, she gave us quite a few things, so we're just going to start with just a little bit for now. She's aboveparcrafts.com, which I think she's got an Etsy shop, and I'll put that up there. But first of all, it's a little notebook from Monopoly Cards, so Virginia Avenue in St. Charles Place. And then a little notebook from Trivial Pursuit Cards. Isn't that great? You can see right there. aboveparcrafts.com. She's incredible. So she gave us some gifts. Isn't that great? I love people. You guys are so generous. So that is for the Hanaho. And so the Hanaho knit along, which I'm hosting, so you can still join. Go ahead. If you have a sweater already, jump in. Go find the pattern. Get the yarn. It's super fun. It's a really, really fun knit, and it doesn't take a million years, and it's quite nice. Come on in. Join us. It'll go one more month. So the month of July, and then it's going to stop. Whether I have a sweater or not, but it's going to be the month of July. Okay, so we did that. And that's, see, it's still in progress here. That's the back, the bottom of the back. In another Girl Cave bag, my beer bag. And then, when I got back, I already showed you my emery, but when I got back, I kind of, stay. We don't need another Christmas ornament debacle, do we? When I got back, I just realized I have lots of stuff on the needles that need to be dealt with. This has been on the needles since November, since I went to Maine. This is my Magic Cake Ruffle Shawl by Paula Emmons-Feasley. I started it in November, and it's still on the needles. Ooh, except I'm pretty much down to the bottom now. I'm on this kind of pretty. It looks gray on screen, but it's a real pale blue. Here's the ball. See, it's a pale blue. Then I have pink, and then I have some variegated. So that's it. I gotta get through this because I'm gonna go crazy. So no, that sounds awful. No, I just want it to be done so I can wear it. Then it's a Magic Cake Ruffle Shawl, but I think I'm gonna do just ribbing at the bottom because I'm not a big ruffles person. But that's okay. I mean, well, I don't know. I think I'll start the ribbing and see how it looks, but I have a feeling that's what I'd like to have at the bottom, and I'm sure Paula wouldn't mind. Paula of Knitting Pipeline. She is amazing. She's a Knitting Pipeline podcast. Go check it out. I love Paula. I always want to call her Auntie Paula now because that's what Mel calls her. So that's gonna be done. Yes, it will. Really soon. I've just pulled it out and I've been working on it, and it's such a great knit. And I call it my Molly Weasley shawl because it reminds me of Molly Weasley, something she'd probably wear. You know, she'd knit socks for all the boys and then use her scraps for herself. You know, classic mom, right? Love it. So that's on the go. That's seriously on the go. I still have my Hogwarts Express, but it's kind of at the same space. I haven't got to the owls yet. I will someday. And I had more things to share with you, but we ran out of time, so I'm just going to share with you later. But until then, because it's Canada Day, I need to figure out what nail polish color to wear. So I'm going to do another Instagram game. I have some options of red nail polish that I want to put on. And just so you all know, I'll tell you what the outcome is later, but I'm going to put this on Instagram and get some votes to see what color red nail polish I should wear today. I guess it is now safe to return to your life as normal. I'm sure you've got a lot of your beverage done. Mine's not because I've been chatting the whole time. You probably got a lot of knitting done. You might have had to take this in like two steps. Let's see if I missed anything else. Oh, one last thing. Oh, Okay, bear with me. One more thing I wanted to share. Only because it's very relevant to my recent trip to Vancouver. I stopped in at Sweet Georgia Yarns. I have bought from Sweet Georgia for a while now. I love her. She's a local yarn company. She's been published. She's all over the place, actually. I think you can get her in the States too, but I've never actually been to their studio. So it's a tiny little storefront, mostly the big studio in the back. I went to visit and I came back with yarn. Look at this. It is Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock in the summer skin colorway. Very summery. Actually, it looks really blue here. Again, it's more of like a sea glass, kind of a greeny blue. And I'm going to knit Stephen West's Dotted Rays shawl in this. I don't know when I'll get to it. Hopefully sometime soon. But yeah, I just wanted to share. Just because, you know, I thought you'd appreciate it. And I don't want to have to remember to pull it out and tell you guys about it later. Okay, so okay, now officially the yarn says, it is safe for you to return to your life as normal. Thank you so much for coming to see me. Go join us on Ravelry. Find me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Maybe you can have a postcard too. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. I miss you already. I'll see you next week.